Welcome to another edition of Read Along with Uncle Justin. Thanks for joining me. Today we're reading No Jumping on the Bed by Ted Arnold. In his bedroom near the top floor of the tall apartment building, Walter was getting ready for bed. Before turning out the light, his father said, "If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000,000 times. No jumping on the bed. One day it'll crash right through the floor. Now lie down and go to sleep." "Just one more time?" asked Walter. But instead he plopped down on his pillow and squeezed his eyes closed. "Good night," said his father. He turned off the lights and pulled the door almost closed. The room was dark and quiet, except for a soft thump, 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 coming from the room above. "That Dilbert upstairs," thought Walter. He switched on his bedside lamp. "If Dilbert can jump on his bed, so can I." Walter bounced higher, and on his last jump, his hair brushed the ceiling, but when he came back down, his mattress creaked, and the floor cracked, and the whole bed tipped sideways, then down through the floor fell Walter, the bed and all. Look at that. Now it happened that Walter's bedroom was directly above Miss Hetty's dining room. She was more than a little surprised when a bed fell through her ceiling and Walter landed in her plate of spaghetti and meatballs. "I was not expecting company for dinner," she mumbled, with a mouthful of meatballs. "Oh no, said Walter. "Spaghetti is my all-time favorite." But before he could eat, his bed smashed through the table and kept right on crashing down through the floor. Down, down fell Walter, Miss Hetty, and the plate of spaghetti, the bed, and all. Miss Hetty's dining room was above Mr. Matty's TV room. Mr. Matty didn't even notice a bed falling through his ceiling until a meatball bounced off his head. Miss Hetty tumbled into his lap, and Walter splashed into his aquarium. "I've already had my bath tonight," said Walter. He wanted to stay and watch the monsters on TV, but his bed crunched through the floor, taking the TV with it. Down, down fell Walter, Miss Hetty, Mr. Matty, the TV, the spaghetti, the bed, and all. Walter's Aunt Batty was just moved into the building. She was still unpacking when Miss Hetty, Mr. Matty, and the dripping, wet Walter tumbled through the ceiling right into the box containing her rare Patagonia stamp collection. Oh my goodness, look at that. When he burst through the bottom of the box, Walter was a sticky mess. "I see you started collecting stamps," said Aunt Batty as she followed Walter through the new hole in her floor. Down, down fell Walter, Miss Hattie, Mr. Matty, Aunt Betty, the stamp collection, the TV, the spaghetti, the bed, and all. Oh, now look at that. Patty Natty had worked 3 days building their dream house with blocks. Afraid that Fatty Cat might knock something over, they carefully shooed her out for the night. Then the upstairs neighbors came through the ceiling. "Excuse us," said Walter, remembering his manners. "We won't be staying long." The words were barely past his lips when Walter's bed bashed through the floor and continued on its way. Well, that bed is moving quick. Down, down fell Walter, Miss Hattie, Mr. Matty, Aunt Batty, Patty, Fatty Cat, the stamps, the TV, the spaghetti, the bed, and all. Last thing Mr. Hanratty ever expected to see was a bed coming through his studio ceiling, followed by nearly everyone in the building. Look at that. He's painting. "If I'd known you wanted to see my paintings," he said, "I would have tidied up a bit." But they never once paused to admire Mr. Hanratty's colorful artwork. They were too busy splashing in his cans of paint. Then the floor caved in and everyone followed Walter's bed down through the hole. Down and down fell Walter, Miss Hattie, Mr. Batty, Aunt Batty, Patty Natty, Mr. Hanratty, Fatty Cat, 17 cans of paint, the stamps, the TV, the spaghetti, the bed, and all. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Monstro Ferlinghetti and his string quartet were astonished by the colorful crowd that fell from the ceiling. The maestro loved an audience, even if they dropped in unannounced. But when Walter's bed smashed through the floor and paint splattered everywhere, the maestro wished his audience would leave, and so they did, along with the string quartet. Maestro Ferlinghetti's practice room floor was also the basement's ceiling. It was dark and quiet as the midnight down there. Walter squeezed his eyes closed and tumbled through the darkness until he landed on something soft. He opened his eyes. Everything was in its place. His bedroom lights were out, the door was almost closed, and through it Walter could hear his mother and father talking quietly. "No more jumping on the bed for me," mumbled Walter as he lay back down to sleep. Suddenly he heard a creak. The ceiling was cracking, and down came Dilbert. Bed and all, down, down fell Dilbert. The end. Thanks for joining me. Catch you next time. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe or to check out our other episodes with Read Along with Uncle Justin. I'll talk to you later. Bye.